Okay, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm here with Jana.
Hi.
So, I guess we'll start off by sharing your artwork if you'd like.
Sure. This is artwork I did of I drew a picture of my cat I used to have named Morris, who's an orange tabby. And I drew him on the porch playing with the cat toy. And that's basically it.
Okay, I'll share it.
Sure.
Closer for the people so they can see it better. It's a cool art drawing. You spent a lot of time on it today,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of looks kind of a little cool, right?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Okay, a topic we were also discussing today um, was construction, and eventually seeing the finished product. I know when you were a kid, I remember they were doing construction on the middle school, and they were trying to construct an auditorium. And I remember to a middle schooler that took forever. It took like an eternity, I mean, obviously, or a year. I know if they want to construct something like a Target, it seems like that gets put up in a lot less time.
Yes.
I guess because there's a lot of money to be made, at a store like Target. So, um, and also, yeah, I mean, I also know this house, it used to be owned by my grandparents, and it used to look very different. And, around, I guess, 2015, 2016, my mother bought it. And they did a lot of construction to it and changed it like completely almost, so it doesn't look like it did at all. And initially when you see the house compared to how it used to look, I mean, it looks exciting, it looks new, it looks completely renovated, and it's ultimately a change for the better. So do you like to see construction and that kind of stuff?
In high school, they were doing this construction. They were like adding on additions and moving where the old library was, making that student lounge, and then making a new library. And I never got to use the new library or like the other new features they added in. So the only one that got to use it was my younger sister, who was there for like 1 or 2 years to get to use it.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I remember when obviously they were doing the construction on the middle school. It was kind of cool to see it connected to, like the sixth grade wing, and it was just cool to see like the connections and the construction and the finished product. And interestingly, as I was letting Jana know, during Hurricane Sandy, this house flooded, and unbeknownst to me, from 2016 till I guess 2019 when I moved in here, which were about July, that room actually was the black mold room. During Hurricane Sandy, there was black mold in there, and I didn't realize, that my family didn't tell me. Nobody wanted the room, but they kept it secret and they put me in the black mold room. Apparently, they got an abatement company to come in and remove all the mold, but it's like they had me in the black mold room, unbeknownst to me. They didn't tell me. Apparently, this is brand new. They constructed it like around 2018, 2019, and I've been in here for years now. But yeah, during Hurricane Sandy, this whole thing and a number of the beach properties flooded, and yeah, it was black mold room.
I know in my house, my mom's office was in the back of the house, and there was a bathroom across the hall, and that had black mold in it too. So that's probably why she has lung. She's super sensitive to mold now, and she has lung issues.
Yeah, it's not good. You don't want to be breathing that in. It can literally kill you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, it's nothing you want to. And I was home all day, every day. So but I'm assuming they removed most of it, if not all of it. So who knows? But yes, it's not anything you want to be breathing in, obviously.
No.
What else were we talking about? We're talking about a number of interesting topics.
We talking about the fast food restaurant and stuff.
Oh yeah, like Starbucks, for instance. The one down the block for many years, I would go to almost every day, if not every day, and get a cup of coffee. Recently, I started buying stuff at the supermarket and I save money, but and it does save money. But they renovated it and completely overhauled it. And the first few times I went in there, even though it's a big corporation, it was kind of exciting to see the whole new remodeling and redone kind of thing.
Mm.
We also were talking about like wrestling, especially some people have nostalgia for like the old sets from the 90s and 2000s. Usually that they change things for the better and progress things. Obviously people have nostalgia for the past.
Mm.
um,
I know my middle school, none of me and my siblings got to use the renovated, upgraded things. But I did get to go back to the visit, and because there was one side of the building that was 2 stories, and there's another side of the building was 3 stories.
Mm.
And the only way to get from one side of the building to the other was through one tunnel.
Mm.
And then so finally, they made a tunnel for the second floor of one side of the building to the second floor of the other one. It's crazy. Yeah.
It said you never got to use it. I mean, it would have been exciting just to see the finished product, but I guess it didn't happen. But
and the longest time, students and everyone was complaining, how come we had to go downstairs, across the tunnel, upstairs, get to this other part of the building? It's crazy.
Oh, isn't there something like about Connecticut? There should be some sort of bridge connecting.
Oh, Long Island?
Yeah, Long Island to Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would save a lot of time, but
I think they're fairly bad. It's like on Port Jefferson, I think.
Yeah, so there's a number of things that probably should get constructed. And I remember back in like 2018, I saw on the Long Island Railroad, they're going to make a Long Island Railroad stop at Grand Central Station, New York City. And I don't know what year they said it was going to get done, but it seemed like the future. Like I'm like, oh, how old am I going to be then? I'm going to be in my like mid to late 30s, This is not, but it's been in service for years. I'm approaching 40 years old. It came to fruition. Time comes and passes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to the Grand Central Station?
Yes, I've been to the LILL connection area.
Oh, are there any stops between, or does it go straight to Grand Central?
The Port Washington branch goes to both stations, but it depends which train you get on.
Well, let's say you're going to Grand Central Station and not Penn Station. Are there any stops like in between, like Woodside or anything like that? Or
yeah, I think you have to still transfer to Jamaica because they made the Port Washington branch was the only branch that never went to Jamaica. They have to transfer and then come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, I'd be interested to check that out. So they don't really have any motivation to go there for any reason, but I kind of want to see what the Grand Central Long Island Railroad stuff is like, just for the fun of it,
I know it's a very long staircase and a very long escalator, and like if you look up or look down, it's like whoa, it's like vertical. It's so steep and so like such a long like.
Oh, so it's really underground, yeah. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fascinating. Mm-hmm. I know you obviously like trains. I noticed, and so do I. Are there any Long Island Railroad stops that you find fascinating, and if so, for what reason?
I think it was along the Port Washington branch. I forgot station it was exactly, but it always reminded me of like Dutch style or like Japanese style. When the stations had the grid with the windows in the station house, and it looked like it was painted red, and it looked like American style of Japan.
Yeah, very fair. I know a lot of the stations out east at Stony Brook, like St. James, kind of look very old school with their station layouts. I know I don't know if it's the Glen Cove branch or not. There's a station Glen Street, which is just within walking distance of, I guess it would be Glen Cove, and there really shouldn't be 2 separate stops there, but apparently like the millionaires lobbied for like a stop in like the early 1900s. So they could get like access to like some golf course or something like that, and the stop is still in service to this day.
Wow.
So yeah, and also obviously Syosset is interesting, which I would take to Stony Brook on the Port Jefferson branch because a lot of people want to close the station and rebuild another one because it's built on a curve, and as a result, there's a big gap between. Getting off the train And I know a number of people, especially elderly people. I guess if you're a young man in your 20s or 30s, you should be able to, it's not as big of a gap as they make it out to be. I mean, you look on Wikipedia, it doesn't look like really as hazardous as they're making it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually probably some 70-year-old person who's got some disability who slips into the gap.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it can be dangerous. But they make sure they have flashing lights there and cameras, and they repeat extremely large gap area at Syosset. So yeah, they make it clear at that station because I guess it could be potentially a little bit more dangerous.
Mm-hmm. That kind of reminds me of the Great Neck station because the train is like below ground. The road is like very high up, so the station's like down.
Mm.
The train tracks are down lower. So to get off the train, you have to go like almost 2 flights of stairs to get up to like the street level.
Yeah,
that's like crazy. And also by Murray Hill, they always announce like the last 4 cars.
yeah, for train cars, yeah.
Train cars, yeah, will not be stopping at the station because the station is very short.
Mm.
So they always announce that before they get to the station that like the first last cars will not be platforming or something.
Yeah, I mean that always gave me a panic attack. Like you'd get to your station and your car wouldn't open, and I don't know where it would take you after that. But usually, it would, like for me, it would probably be either Massapequa Park or Seaford. It wouldn't take me anywhere too crazy, you know what I mean? But yeah, usually the train doors open, right?
I know my older sibling was coming back from the city one time, and actually I got on the long train line, so the Washington, they got on the Babylon branch or something. And so luckily my dad was nice enough because she didn't have any money to get back to switch and go back to Washington. So because she would have had to transfer to Jamaica and stuff like that. And luckily my dad was kind enough, and he went out and he got her at nighttime and floated back home.
Yeah, that could obviously happen. My mother said, my grandfather used to work in New York City at the World Trade Center, and often he would drink after work, and he would come home and often like fall asleep on the train and wind up in Babylon. They'd have to pick him up. According to my mother, I don't know. I don't have any firsthand evidence of this, but that's what she says. And also, I remember one time I was going to Stony Brook, and there's 2 lines going out east. I think it's the Ronkonkoma branch and the Port Jefferson branch. I don't know. One time I was in a rush. I mean, usually the train times are pretty much the same every day. But one time I think I was going to an extra help session or something like that. So I was going at a different time than I usually go. And I noticed the train was going east. So I just hopped on the train assuming it was going out to Port Jefferson. And it took me to Bethpage, which is the Ronkonkoma branch. And I was panicking because although Bethpage is a safe area, and I didn't really know, but I didn't really know where I was, you know what I mean? Because I was more familiar with Syosset, which was the next stop. But yeah, I was fine, I think.
That reminds me of the time I was in Penn Station, and I went to get on the 1 train going, I think it was downtown.
Yeah.
And I got on the train because I asked someone, is this the 1 train? I said, yes. So I'm listening to the stops on the train. I'm like, wait, these stops are going up in numbers, increasing. So I get off this train and I end up at Harlem Square. This is during the daytime, thankfully. But luckily, I was able to get a shuttle because I was heading to Union Square originally. So there was a shuttle bus from there that directly went to Union Square. That was the last stop.
Yeah, it's scary, especially in New York City in the subway. You could be in like a really safe area and you miss your stop on the subway, and it could take you like right into the middle of the ghetto, and you could be really scared. I used to take the train, subway to Brooklyn, and by my psychiatrist, I think it was Winthrop stop by the hospital, and for some reason they were doing construction on it, and I guess it took me to the next stop down, and I was having a major panic attack because I didn't know where I was. I think I plugged it into the GPS on Google Maps or something and just walked. It wasn't too much further away, but it was scary initially, because I didn't know where I was. And Brooklyn, I mean, it was during the daytime. Brooklyn can be kind of dangerous at nighttime, but yeah, I was safe enough, I guess.
Now, reminds me when I was going to an outpatient program, and they were doing this construction in the parking lots, and I saw my eyes are closed off, and you had to walk like this now a little like corridor things. And I was not familiar with the area at all, so that was like kind of nerve-wracking because able I would stop off at one place because it was like on the Nassau Queens border, and back then the buses didn't like go over the line, so. But yeah, that was like confusing, and that was like kind of like anxiety too because it was like, well, which way do I go then? Because I don't know the way around.
Yeah, I mean, being unfamiliar with your surroundings, and especially being in a bad area, you can feel like a fish out of water, and you can be really scared and feel in danger. Especially Brooklyn and New York City. I mean, Bethpage is more or less similar to Syosset and Hicksville and Levittown. But in New York City, I mean, you could be like in a good area on one stop, and the next stop could be like the middle of the ghetto. So you got to just, you know, for what it's worth. So
yes,
you got to be a little bit more aware in New York City, right?
Yeah, I know one time I was on the Port Washington branch, and I was at the Flushing Main Street stop, and I was supposed to get the train back to Port Washington, and I wasn't aware at that time of day the train has a transfer point at Great Neck. So I got on the train. I was here that they say next stop is Great Neck. Last stop is Great Neck. So I get back off the train.
Yeah.
I ended up missing my psychiatry appointment back home because I was unaware that it was like you'd get off the train at Great Neck, and then the next train you'd get on and go to Washington.
Did you like being early for psychiatry appointments, or even college for that matter? Or did you like being right on time, or did you like coming late?
No, I liked being early because I would like to sit in the front and things like that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, I'm the same way, and sometimes I would go a little crazy with how early I would get there. I mean, I was obviously I didn't like to be late because so I would kind of like take a train that was, like almost an hour ahead of schedule. When if I took a train like 40 minutes later, I'd probably get there right on time, and I wouldn't be late at all. I was a little bit obsessive, and I know my father would often tell me, "Just take the later train. What are you doing?" And if it's delayed, you just walk into the appointment like a half hour later. You know what I mean? But I usually just took the earlier train and sat in the cafeteria and got something to eat.
Yeah, kind of what I would do with the able in the public bus sometimes.
Yeah, I guess it's better to be early than late, right?
Yeah, I would say. They always say at the interviews too.
Yeah, job interviews too.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I was actually interviewing for a supermarket in Wallbounds. I guess it was the whatever location it was. I don't know why I thought the interview was at 3 p.m. It was at 2 p.m. This was not even sabotage. And I was always on time to work, usually early. There's plenty of people who walk in late for whatever reason. I thought the interview was at 3 p.m., but it was at 2 p.m. I come in there at 3 p.m. for my interview. You're not getting the job. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? You show up to the interview an hour late. It was an honest mistake. Yeah, you're just not getting that job. You know what I mean? It's just that's not a good first impression. So.
I know when I was in high school and the schedule and it would change every week, like different classes, different times and stuff. And finally, by the time I get the schedule down, then they'd be changing it like the next week. And I was like, so I'd show up to my math class when I was supposed to do English class, so I'd skip my math class accidentally, and then I had a free time class, like free resource class on.
Yeah, so I mean, that's always something you want to make sure you're on time, especially if it's a career or something like that, right? Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, or
no?
Were there any other interesting topics we were talking about today? No. I guess that might do it. Anybody have any questions here, or? Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. It was kind of an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, I did.
See you soon. Bye.